Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is a two-part video response. In other words, I am responding to two videos. One of the videos in which I'm responding to is by a close friend, or I've always considered him a close friend over YouTube. I met him in 2009 here on YouTube, and then we started to talk over Skype and MSN Messenger. And then when I have converted to deism, he made a video addressing me, and he's sharing his concern. As a Christian, he's sharing his concern about me, and this is responding to him and another Christian user. So with that said, I apologize for the length, but you may want to watch this video.
There's a user called Mr. Repzion, and I've actually been subbed to this guy a long time. He used to be this soft-spoken kid who was a Christian. He'd stumble over his words a lot back then, but he was a genuine sort of user, and I found him to be interesting in that sense. And then, of course, he fell in love with the world. There's really no other way of saying it. He fell in love with the world, and his channel has greatly changed. His personal life has greatly changed. And I've watched some videos of his, some well done, some really, really touching. He looks into the camera and sort of gives his testimony. I've found myself disagreeing with a lot of what he said, but I think it's very powerful and very real. I think he's started rubbing shoulders with TJ, and he's become a hard leftist.
I have to correct you on this point, Brock, that I'm not a leftist or extreme leftist, or I'm not on the right or the left. I'm a moderate. When I was a Christian, I was always lenient towards the left, the liberal side of Christianity. But now that I'm not a Christian, I classify myself as a moderate. I don't go to the left and I don't go to the right. There's inconsistencies, I believe, on both. In fact, there are videos on my channel where I've tackled the right and I've tackled the left. I mean, I'm not one-sided here. But it also really bothers me when you say that I've been rubbing shoulders with TJ. In other words, I guess what you're trying to say is that he's been influencing me, and that my perspectives and some of my beliefs have been influenced by him. And I would like just to correct this and say that you're completely wrong on this issue. My decisions, my choices, my beliefs, my convictions, a lot of them still actually hold. But none of these things that I have come to believe regarding or converting to deism have been an influence of TJ. In fact, there's a lot of videos of TJ that I like, and there's a lot of videos that he's made that I don't like. In fact, there's a lot of things that I agree with him on, and a lot of things I disagree with him on. So when someone says that I've been rubbing shoulders with TJ and they're the people who have influenced me, I just like to correct that and say that you're completely wrong, because I am my own individual. I know my individuality, and people do not easily influence me. In fact, the people who influence me the most don't even exist.
He's one of these like Christian haters. I don't even know if he considers himself a Christian anymore, but he really likes to kick the church when it's down and sort of rub salt in any sort of wound he can find. He does this, of course, because of the standing ovations that he receives from the secularists, because anybody who sort of hates on a Christian from any angle is acceptable to them. He is what he eats now. As we all are. He's chasing their approval, and he's become that. And
Brock, again, I have to disagree with you here strongly, and I mean strongly, strongly, strongly. I'm not seeking anyone's approval here on YouTube. In fact, I don't even care if the Amazing Atheist disliked one of my videos. I don't care. Even when I was a Christian here on YouTube, when I would have people get all upset at some of my beliefs back in the old days, where I would say that abortion is never the option, that even if a woman gets raped, she should not have an abortion. I held that belief when I first came to YouTube back in early 2007. I held that belief, and over time, I've always been someone who has a very open mind about learning and critical thinking and looking outside the box. But even back then, when I was brutally attacked by people, when I would have actually people write me messages saying that they wish I would kill myself because I didn't believe a certain thing, or I believed that homosexuality was wrong. If I was truly seeking other people's approval, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. In fact, I probably wouldn't even have some of the beliefs that I still have, even when I was a Christian, that I still have right now. Whether religious or not religious, seeking humans' approval is a dangerous position to hold, no matter who you are. And guess how I've discovered that? By seeking people's approval when I was younger. It didn't work. I was wounded more because I sought people's approval versus looking to myself, being dependent upon myself, relying on myself, and approving myself for who I am and not giving a rat's behind about what people think of me. In fact, if I cared about what people think of me, I wouldn't be wearing a Pokemon hat right now, because I know a lot of people think that I'm a child because I love geeky things like Star Wars, comic books. I'm being myself. I'm not seeking anyone's approval. And for that, I am happy. I am happy being me.
Here's the thing that I think is interesting and why I'm making this video. That happens to a lot of Christians, especially younger Christians. Instead of having God's Word be their compass, they feel it's archaic, a relic, and they think it's too costly to their worldly reputation. They think it's too costly to them as individuals as they're seeking man's approval. And what a costly choice they're making. Because at best, where we have 70, 80 years on this earth. And what's sad is to see that, where Christians have been touched by the truth in their heart at some point, but you see their love of the world just envelop that and swallow that up. And I see that a lot in Mr. Repzion's generation. They're inundated with propaganda, and they're inundated with the Christian, and specifically the evangelical Christian, just like the scapegoat for all things. And they buy into the straw man, and they buy into the cardboard cutout accusations thrown at Christians that we're not caring, we're not loving, we're not accepting, none of which is true.
Brock, have you even really watched any of my videos? I have to ask this question. I don't believe all Christians are unloving, uncompassionate, not merciful. I don't believe that at all. In fact, I know Christians who are very loving, who are accepting. I know Christians who love homosexuals despite them disapproving of their lifestyle. I know a lot of Christians, and I have some very close relationships with my family who happen to be Christians. I honestly don't know how you can sit there and say that I hold this view that all Christians are like this. They're not. As I mentioned earlier, most of my videos addressing Christians are those radical Christians who don't look outside of the Bible, who don't go outside their cardboard box, who don't think for themselves. They let a 2,000-year-old book, They let a 2,000-year-old book jurisdict everything they believe. Everything. I hold the same view, whether it's Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion. When you place your entire morality, your entire thought processing in a book, that is dangerous. When you rely on all of your answers to be answered in a book, that is dangerous, whether it's the God Delusion or the Holy Bible. I've always been someone who tries to think outside of the box, and because of that, I've been able to change and shape my beliefs, and I've been changing as a person for the past several years, mainly since I left the church at age 18.
And all of the facts, not rumor mill, not YouTube video nonsense, but facts speak to the fact that that's not true. Christians outgive, they outserve, they do in actual action what charity is, what goodness is to their brother, the orphan, the widow. That's just true. It's always been true, especially in America. But in Mr. Repzion's generation, goodness and doing good really isn't about the actions that you yourself do. What do you spend your money on? What do you spend your time doing? No, it's the ideas you have. So in other words, if you condone the latest youthful, cool president's political opinions, well, then you're good. If you march in lockstep with the latest, MTV's opinions on gender, you're good. But that doesn't actually make you good. Your politics don't make you good or bad. Your actions, what you do, make you good or bad. And it's really this muddied water gray area for this generation.
Brock, I completely and 100% agree with you on this point, that I believe our younger generation does have this problem, that we're all about what's cool, whether it's drugs, whether it's drinking, whether it's beliefs, whether it's positions you hold on politics. My generation does seem to be conformed with what is cool. I mean, Miley Cyrus got her hair cut super, super short. How many young girls went out and got her same haircut because they wanted to be cool? They wanted to look like Miley Cyrus. And this is a problem with our society today. I understand that. But in all honesty, with my self-esteem issues that I still have to this very day, I don't think that I'm cool at all. I'm not trying to be cool by adopting a popular opinion or unpopular opinion. In fact, a lot of my opinions and views on things, it seems like a lot of people disagree with me on a lot of different issues. For example, sex. People still attack me because I say that I'm a virgin, because I say that I'm celibate, which I am. I'm a 20-year-old male who lives with his parents, I pay rent, and I'm celibate. Yet people, that's not a popular belief to hold, is celibacy. And yet, here in this video, you seem to be alluding to the fact that I make videos and I adopt opinions simply because they're popular. No, I don't. In fact, I have a lot of opinions which I don't even share on the interwebs simply because I know that they're not popular and that people are just going to mock me for it. For example, celibacy being one of them.
And Mr. Epsteon's channel is such a manifestation of this problem. Unfortunately, I've sort of seen firsthand the decomposition of his channel all the way to where he's like ambulance chasing the latest secular extremist, I don't know, high five club or something. And I think he thinks, and people like him, I think they think it's courageous. I really believe, but it's actually the epitome of cowardice.
No, Brock, my opinions on tackling radical feminists or radical Christians or radical religious nutjobs, I don't do it because I want to be courageous. In fact, I don't even want to be acknowledged because I'm courageous. In fact, I'm not courageous. I know that for a fact. I do it because I'm passionate. And a lot of people here on YouTube seem to not understand that I'm a very passionate individual about the things that I speak about. Whether it be religion or social issues, when I have a belief or a conviction on something, I'm going to voice that opinion no matter how much hatred, no matter how much people dislike my opinion on that thing, I'm going to voice it anyway. And I'm passionate about it. That's the thing, that's one of the few qualities that I actually like about myself, is that I'm passionate. To try to explain the problems with our society, humanity, religion, politics. I'm not a really political person, but you know what I'm trying to say.
God's word never says you're going to be popular. It never says, in fact, the opposite's going to be true. He flat out tells you to follow him is going to mean you're unpopular among men, because men don't want to seek righteousness. Men don't want to seek truth.
You know, I agree with you on this point. When I was a Christian here on YouTube, I was popular. Wait, what? Yeah, I was popular, actually. And I find it odd that you say that that a Christian is not going to be popular, because even when I was a Christian, I had almost nearly 12,000 subscribers even before TJ promoted my channel whatsoever. People knew me here on YouTube as a Christian who didn't make videos condemning someone simply because they were gay. People knew me as a Christian who I may not have agreed with their lifestyle at that time, but I still believed in loving those people and accepting those people and reaching out to those people, even if they have lived a lifestyle or even if they held a view that I didn't agree with. That's something here on YouTube you don't see very often among Christians, and I held that view when I was a Christian here on YouTube. In fact, I even talk about it when I was a Christian on my channel. I have videos about this where I say, I'm not on YouTube to force religion down people's throats. I'm not on YouTube to convince you to believe what I believe. I'm on YouTube just to share what I believe or express my opinions on certain issues. That's it. And that's what really built my reputation here on YouTube while being a Christian. But I guess my question to you, Brock, is it wrong for a Christian to be popular? Because from what you're saying, that if a Christian really believes what he believes, he's going to be unpopular, and that if he's popular, that means he's doing it wrong. Or at least, that's the impression that I'm getting from you regarding your statement right here.
It's a sad thing to see. And if you're watching this, Mr. Epstein, I'm certainly not attacking you personally. But your channel and what it's become has really become a great teaching moment for a lot of young people like you. And if you watch this, I challenge you not to emote all over the place watching this and get angry, but to entertain what I'm saying. You might disagree and you might agree. The latter, very unlikely. at least entertain the option that there's some truth in what I'm saying.
Brock, I'm a very open-minded individual, and I'm going to entertain. If someone makes a video response to me like you've done here, I'm going to entertain it. I'm going to think about what they said, and quite frankly, on most of the points in your video that you made addressing me about seeking man's approval and rubbing shoulders with TJ and being far leftist, for the most part, those are all wrong. But I did agree with you on the point of where our society tends to look to what is always cool, and I agree with you on that. But in terms of me trying to appear cool on YouTube, I'm not, as I already explained earlier. But the whole reason I'm on YouTube, Brock, is because I care about quality, not quantity. I've made a lot of videos, over 400, and I've made videos from religion to sketch, just talking about my life, things going on in my life. I've made videos on dating, I've made videos on depression. I'm working on a new video right now on suicide and depression, talking about my two disorders I have, from anxiety disorder and a depressive disorder, which I developed from being molested in the church. I'm going to be talking about these things, and I'm going to be talking about how to overcome and how to face these issues, how to face these depressive and anxiety disorder. I have a lot of problems with myself that have developed from things that have happened to me in the past. And whether one person watches it, that's all that matters to me. If two people can watch a video and they can gain a new perspective or be helped by that video, that is enough for me to keep making videos here on YouTube. It's never going to be about the quantity. It's always going to be about the quality. To me, that's why I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube to help inspire, to help people think about things on different perspectives, and there will be videos where I sometimes get overly passionate or very angry. That's a given fact. But Brock, I want you to know that I don't dislike you just simply because you're a Christian. I don't hate anybody just because they're a Christian. It's particular type of people that I go after. I go after people who give Christianity a bad name. That's the type of people that I have a problem with. People who give religion a bad name based upon the beliefs and convictions they hold and try to force on other people. That's what I really care about. However, it is time for a second video response in this same video. This user goes by the name of Roger. I met Roger in 2009 when I was still a creationist and held a lot of biblical traditional views on marriage, abortion, and on. And he made a video response to me, and this is a video response to him. Please watch.
I've known you for a while, Daniel, since late 2009. Someone who really seemed to love the Lord God. Someone who didn't always have an easy time in life. And I know you've had some bad things happen to you. So it's kind of hard to do this video, because at one point you've had a lot of bad things happen to you and you're still wounded, you're still hurt. But at the other time, just totally walking away from God and now teaming up with the atheists to even using your own arguments and to try to debunk the Christian faith. You know, it's a dangerous ground.
Roger, I have no desire to debunk Christianity. Even when I was a Christian, I was always striving to think outside the box. I was always striving to see, I saw inconsistencies within the Bible and Christianity. And in later videos, I'm actually going to be making some videos about these inconsistencies that I see, and I'm going to be asking Christians on YouTube to help explain to me these inconsistencies. Because when I was a Christian and I would go to people who I knew who were Christians and I would ask them these things, they would tell me that I shouldn't be doubting my faith, that I shouldn't be I shouldn't be even thinking about why the Bible may be wrong. I'm looking at it the wrong way. Or they would tell me, Daniel, all you need to do is get on your knees and pray, and God will reveal to you what He means when He mass murders thousands of people in the Bible. You know, I was always told to get on my knees and pray that God is going to reveal to me what a particular passage is in the Bible. And I tried that as a Christian. I really did. And nothing ever came to me. There's issues in the Bible like biblical genocide, which I'm going to be making a video about. Even when I was a Christian, there was issues in the Bible which I would not justify. And when people would ask me, Daniel, as a Christian, how do you explain biblical genocide where God just mass slaughters thousands of people? And I would say, well, you know, God is perfect. He can't lie. He can't do anything against his nature. He's omnibenevolent. He's omniscient. He's all these, you know, theological attributes, and everything he does is therefore automatically moral. And the more I thought about the position, though, everything God does, the God of the Bible, everything he does is perfectly moral. I can't stand beside that and try to justify his actions, whether people are moral or immoral, whether people are worshiping idols in the Old Testament or not. I can't stand by a God that just slaughters millions of people simply because they don't worship him. I can't do that. And I'm not on YouTube to debunk Christianity. I'm on YouTube to make people think about their perspectives and opinions or beliefs or religious beliefs. That's it. My videos that I'm making in the future on Christianity are only going to be about asking questions and inconsistencies that I see. That's all. You may consider that trying to debunk Christianity, but I have no desire to debunk Christianity. But in terms of siding up with atheists, I haven't. A lot of atheists on YouTube, and I'm probably gonna get hate for this, are stupid. A lot of atheists on YouTube are very dogmatic. They believe that their atheism is some sort of, I don't really know how to describe it, that atheism is like this powerhouse, that they're all firm in their atheism. And it almost, I realize that atheism is not a belief, but it almost seems to me sometimes that atheists can become so dogmatic in their perspectives that they almost look to atheism as a sort of God, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but I'm not siding with atheists, because atheists on YouTube, a large majority, and I mean majority, are very stupid. Not saying that atheists who watch me are stupid, but a lot of atheists, I guess you could call it YouTube atheism. There's a lot of anti-theists here on YouTube who are atheists, who oppose, if someone's a theist, they're by definition stupid and they cannot be intelligent, which I obviously disagree. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. I don't side with any atheists here on YouTube, and I especially don't want to, based upon their YouTube atheism.
You know, it's not a good place you're in spiritually, and one of the things that comes to mind is the Apostle Paul said, well, where to have the mind of Christ, you know, not be conformed to the things of this world. And I've noticed on your channel, especially the last 12, 18 months, you've been totally enamored with the things of the world, you know, with worldly movies and this kind of thing, and just making pointless videos, you know.
Okay, I honestly have a problem with you saying that I've been making pointless videos in the past 12 to 18 months. In fact, I've made a lot of videos that have helped a lot of different people on a lot of different things. I made a video called Mr. Repzion Rises, where I talked about an instance where molestation happened to me. This was when I was 16, and that video helped a lot of people. Are you going to tell me that that video is pointless? Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to make that video? In fact, I wouldn't even have made that video if it wasn't for my psychologist, Dr. Penner, who, when I opened up to him about what had happened to me at that experience at age 16, he encouraged me to talk to people about it. He encouraged me to share my story with people. And he knew that I did YouTube, and he even said that I should make a video, and I should be very vague on the details and describing the person, but I should make a video about it to help myself cope with the pain and the wounds that I was feeling from what happened to me. Are you going to tell me that my videos that I've made in the past 12 to 18 months have all been pointless? I mean, sure, I've made videos here on my channel where I talk about comics and Star Wars and things that I'm interested in. That's me being a complete geek. That's just me. But to disregard and say my videos have been pointless, I disagree. In fact, the amount of emails I've received from people personally saying that I've helped save their lives, that to me is extraordinary. That to me is a reason alone to keep making the type of videos that I'm making. Because if I mean, you have no idea how much happiness it brings me when I see a massive email by someone saying that I helped them overcome suicide because of my video, Mr. Repzion Rises. I've had emails which have brought me to almost tears based upon videos I've made that have helped people. So please, don't tell me that my videos have all been pointless, because they haven't. They haven't.
I remember your old videos, Daniel, when you spoke God's truth, you know, on things like abortion, homosexuality. You did a really good video about Family Guy, like pointing out exactly what was wrong with it and why Christians shouldn't watch it. It was a good video. It was the first video I ever saw of yours. That's what made me start talking to you in the first place. You know, I remember when you did a video response to some Christian questions, and then I did a video response to you. I don't have that video, so unfortunately. Yeah, you were quite an encouragement to watch somebody young in the Lord. But I've seen your slide, Daniel. It doesn't really surprise me where you are now, and I've discussed it with a brother in the Lord too. I saw this coming, you know. I've seen it happen before. You'd remember this is a video for Jesus, young Michael. You know, he got caught up with the things of the world, and sadly has nothing to do with the Lord God at the moment. I pray he returns. And you seem to have gone down the exact same path he went down. It's like you got your 35,000 subscribers all stroking your ego. And that's where your heart really seems to be.
Roger, with all due respect, I really don't like it when Christians, and it's really mainly Christians, it's only Christians who have really tell me, Daniel, I know where your heart is. No, you don't. I hate it when people make gross assumptions about me when they don't even know me. You only know what you see in my videos. And a lot of my videos where I yell at the camera, yeah, sure, I'm really mad, but some of it's just for entertainment purposes. You know, my subscribers are stroking my ego. No. I'm stroking my own ego because I'm my own person. I'm on YouTube to help people. And I've done that in a lot of my videos. My heart isn't in popularity, as I mentioned with Brock. And for you just to assume that it is... I really want to yell, but I'm containing myself to be civil for this video response, that please don't make assumptions about me. Please don't tell me where my heart is. Because you can't know that. You don't even know me as a person. You've never met me. You only see what I record. That's it. I mean, there's things in my life that I haven't talked about in front of a camera, and I probably won't ever talk about because they're way too personal to me. I've had a lot of things happen to me that a lot of people don't know about, and I'm not using that as an excuse for people to feel sorry for me. I don't want pity. I don't want people feeling sorry for me. But I've went... And I've told Christians this, and even when I was a Christian, I've told people that I went through hell and back. You know, to have a girl who you love and care for dump you because you wouldn't have sex with her? I mean, there was other reasons for why she dumped me, but that was one of the reasons. I wouldn't give in to the... She wanted to have sex, she wanted to have a child with me, and I wasn't ready for that. And plus, at that time, when I was 17, I believed in having sex after marriage. And I still, to an extent, hold that view, although I'm not against premarital sex. I'm just celibate right now. That could change in the future. But I've went through a lot of stuff in my own life, and I know where my heart is as a person. I know where I'm at. So please don't tell me that my ego and my heart is in my subscribers. As I explained to Brock, it's all about quality, not the quantity.
I've only got 661 subscribers at the moment. And yeah, sometimes I get a few. I've noticed other days I'll lose a few. It's something that shouldn't bother us, how many subscribers we have. It's more important that the truth is taught, even if only 1 or 2 people listen to it. I mean, that's something. That's of eternal value. But it seems you only want counsel from people who are creating a false fantasy for you, Daniel. In the long run, it's not going to help you. Holding on to these mindsets and false ideals that people are giving to you. I can feel for your parents, just seeing their son just wander away, drift further and further into the world, where Christians are not of this world, Daniel. We're meant to be different. We're not meant to love the things of this world. Now, do I do that perfectly 100% of the time? No, I don't. I mean, I still sometimes watch television. I might go to the occasional sports game. I don't let it obsess me. I don't let it dominate my life. I can live without it. But when it becomes an obsession, it can become very dangerous, And that's what I see from you. Your obsession with Batman, amongst other things.
Roger, can I ask you an honest question? What's wrong with Batman? Batman is a hero. He's saved people. He's about bringing people to justice. I don't really see the correlation between what's wrong with Batman. I understand that you think that Batman is of the world, but Star Wars is of the world. A lot of things I'm interested in are in the world. I play video games. I don't watch TV. I hate TV. But I have a lot of worldly items, comic books. But having worldly items or liking a worldly thing such as Batman is not necessarily always wrong, at least according to the Christian faith. In the Christian faith, we are taught to be in the world, but not of it. And when I was a Christian, I was always in the world. I never gave in to the concept of profanity. In fact, if you've watched my videos, a lot of my older videos when I was a Christian, I would never swear. No matter how mad I got, I wouldn't swear in my videos. And it's not until recently that after I've converted to deism, that I feel more free to open up and more free to be myself. I've been containing my mouth, trying to get, when I get so mad and I say, holy flamingo turd or holy cat turd, trying to censor myself from using profanity. I did this because I wasn't of the world. And now that I'm a deist, I've kind of thrown away the whole profanity thing, and I'm only going to use profanity when I feel actually is necessary. But when I was a Christian, I was not of the world. And liking things or watching television, these may be worldly, but just because they're worldly doesn't mean it's wrong for a Christian to like it. And I agree with you in terms of the Christian faith. If a Christian is becoming so obsessive with, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, in the Christian faith, that person would be of the world. But when I was a Christian, that wasn't the case.
I'm not making this video to try to tear you to shreds, Daniel. You got to understand that, What I want and God wants is to see you back in relationship and in fellowship with Him. It's a bad path to go down, falling away, Daniel. I've read and heard testimonies of people who have fallen away, and God has really had to break them to bring them back. It's not something you want to go through. It's better if you come back on your own, but because of the Lord's love, sometimes He has to break the legs of His sheep when they go astray.
This is an interesting sentence. The Lord will break the legs of His sheep if they go astray. Roger, I'm going to be completely honest. If the God of the Bible is real, He's going to have to break my legs, my arms, and my neck. I sincerely mean that. If the God of the Bible is real, He is going to have to perform something that would dramatically change my entire life perspective instantly. Maybe that's another traumatic experience in my life. I don't know.
I don't want to see that happen to you. I'd rather see you come back to God of your own volition, Daniel, rather than to face the discipline of God. His rod's not pleasant, but he disciplines everyone he calls a child when they go AWOL. And praise God that he does, It shows he cares. It's sad to see where you are, Daniel. It really is. And I pray that you do return to the Lord God.
So I don't know how many Christians are watching this video, but I'd like to ask you Christians out there a reasonable question. First of all, I appreciate Brock for making the video response to me, and also to Roger. I've known Roger for quite some time, so I'm not gonna be mean or call names or try to appear angry and stuff. But I want to ask you Christians out there a question. And this is a question that many Christians haven't been able to answer me. But, I'll just give it a shot. So, I've talked about in one of my videos when I was molested. I don't believe this would have happened if it hadn't been for church, because it was because of a church thing. But, my question is, there's a verse in the Bible that says in Jeremiah, and I forget I think it's on my keys. Look at that. Oh, you can't see it. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11 on my keychain. Still on my keychain. My question to you is, how exactly does that verse apply to me being molested? I ask this because I see no positive outcome which resulted from that experience in my life. The only thing I see from that experience is pain, hatred to an extent. When that happened, I was very hateful for a few years in my life, and it wasn't until I had to go into therapy with my psychologist and had to really talk out and release a lot of the hate, which is what I did in my Mr. Repzion Rises video, where I forgave the perpetrator of me. But I can't see any positive outcome. What hope and future, plans to prosper you, did that experience that I went through, how did that prosper me? Because from that experience, I developed 2 disorders, and one's an anxiety disorder. I can't go in rave parties. I can't have if I have people, around me and they're touching me, I go into a panic attack because of what happened. I have a permanent depressive disorder that I have to take medication, I used to take medication for, because of what happened to me. There's numerous other things that come into play here. I still to this very day struggle with very low self-esteem. Although I may appear confident in front of a camera, I have very low self-esteem. Most of all the qualities I see in myself, I hate about myself. I am so self-critical of myself, of my speech and how I view myself. And all this stuff happened because of that thing that happened to me at 16. That's how greatly it affected me. So please, to you Christians out there, how does Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future," how does that come into play with the experiences I have went through in my life? I don't understand it. And I'm not mad, I'm getting worked up. Because it pisses me off, it genuinely does. Or the best phrase from Christians I get. "Daniel, God's just testing you. Everything that's happened in your life, it's a test." Well, if the God of the Bible used molestation to test me, my middle finger goes up to him. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if you feel that I'm disrespecting the God of the Bible because of that. But if you have the veracity to say to me that it was a test, I can't say go to hell, that doesn't make sense, I don't believe in hell. I don't even know how to end the video. I'll just leave it at that. So please think about that question, the Christians who are watching this video. How does my painful experience apply to Jeremiah 29:11? Thank you for watching.